We have one short presentation with someone who I'm actually incredibly proud of. Antonio Martini was one of the very first PhD students of Software Center in 2011. Graduated, I think, 4.5 years or 4 years later with a thesis that had like 15 papers in them or something. What did you have? Well, quite a bit. Today, after moving to Norway, he's actually a full professor of software engineering at Oslo University. So most of my PhD students go and do useful things. They go to industry, but a few of them end up in academia. And I'm very happy that not all of them go to industry. So with that, I would like to give Antonio a few minutes to talk about his some of the ideas that he has around software architecture and AI.
Yeah.
So Antonio, go ahead.
Thank you, Jan. Hi, everyone. Some of you might remember me. Some of you maybe it's newer. It's been like quite a long journey. I've been, yes, I had also, a very long journey here at Software Center, but also I got a kid, so I was away for a while. Now I'm back, I'm back here now today. So let's not go there. Okay, so I just wanted to share a little bit of some ideas that I discussed with some people in the software architecture and about AI, of course. And the question is a new revolution for architects happening? And I don't know. This is more a bit like more a hypothesis than trying to report a lot of things. Jan already presented me, so I don't have to say anything about just the thing that I don't drink Martini. My name is Antonio Martini. It feels a little bit like cannibalism. So I said, okay, no, I skip that. But I did a PhD, postdoc, and then I did some consultancy. I worked with a company in the US. I also founded like a startup and everything. I ended up in Norway now. I worked with a lot of companies that you might recognize here. Now I'm working with data-driven continuous management of technical debt with a grant in Norway with these 3 companies. But I also work, of course, with architecture. And one thing I remember from 10 years ago, and that's why I wanted to look into this, is exactly in this context at the Software Center, we talk about the agile architect, and maybe some of you remember that. So it was, okay, we know the story, right? We had the revolution of agile, and everyone wants to implement agile. And then we also had a problem with architects, right? So what should architect actually really do? What should we give them to do? Should they write code or not, and so on and so forth. And then we actually did a study, right? So what happened is that we had a lot of feature teams, and what happens to the architects? What now? What do we need to do? Architects? Do we need architects? What should we architects do in agile? And so turned out that a lot of people said, oh, we don't need architects anymore, but maybe we need different architects. Architects roles were needed in large-scale agile, but they had to change their way of working. And basically, the idea is that we need architects roles, but not necessarily positions. But the idea was that they have to do things differently. We need the different architects. Is this true also for AI? That's the question that I'm asking. And who thinks we need different architects for AI? Not that many. Okay. Anyway, this guy, and he says that could be a bit biased, but he says that AI is probably the most important things humanity has ever worked on. Even if half of this is true, it's probably very important. So one thing that is important in my perspective, or why I'm talking about here, is, okay, what about architecture? I think we had a question about architecture and AI. So what's happening to architecture? And especially we have 2 different dimensions. One is what happens to software architecture of AI system? Do we need to architect in a different way? And there is another dimension to this. Can we use AI to make better architecture of traditional software? So we have these 2 dimensions. I'm going to go through both of them. So if you look at AI for software architecture, there are a lot of things that are happening. There are AI code generation. We saw a presentation where 25% is code that's generated. That's a lot. AI refactoring, we actually did some work on that. Requirement analysis, you can get, I saw some posters about this topic. AI for runtime adaptation, test case generation, security threat detection, automatic documentation, and so on and so forth. So there are a lot of things that are happening that we can use to make better architecture. So does AI for software architecture affect architects? I'll take a concrete example because otherwise it remains a little bit too high level. So I will take the example of anomaly, right? I mean, we know that sometimes in our software system we have anomalies, and then sometimes we have like an architect or a domain expert who says, "Oh, we have this anomaly. Why do we have this anomaly? Let's look at what has happened. Let's look at similar anomalies because we can maybe understand the root cause of these anomalies, and maybe we can find a solution for the current anomalies, right?" A lot of this maybe can also be done with tools, but a lot of this can also be done with implicit knowledge. So this is one way to do things, but is this knowledge always available? Do these people remember at the right time that we need what happened like 5 years ago about those anomalies that are different? Do we have bias sometimes so we don't want to remember, or this can be also quite time consuming, right? So we want to say, oh, let's use AI, right? And we saw a lot of this, a lot of these ideas. But AI, it comes with different things. First, we need data. And we need agents, or I mean, that's where we are going, right? We have a lot of agents, and we need to structure the data somehow. We can also not structure the data, but probably structuring in a certain way it's sort of better. We also have to architect these agents somehow. So and then we can use this to find these similar anomalies and root causes and that kind of stuff. So this is the AI part, and maybe we find a solution. Maybe we can also predict now, instead of just reacting to the anomaly, we can actually predict the anomalies, right? This would be nice. So what do we need? We need data scientists for doing this. Is that enough to have data scientists? Oh, oops. I have that. Yes, I didn't call it architects. I call it domain expert. In any case, I think we need at least someone who is not only a data scientist, and that's very important, I think. So my hypothesis here is that AI has the potential to multiply the efficiency and effectiveness of some tasks. We don't need to see which tasks. But we need AI knowledge from on one hand, but we also need domain and system knowledge from the other hand. So we need to sort of combine. Yes, yes. It's not only about the code, right? Domain expert.
Saying about it was the domain expert. If you rely upon an automation stuff, the domain expert just will disappear. That has been recognized by many of those looking into the tacit knowledge management, the knowledge centers.
Yeah.
Do you think to become a domain expert in fully automated world?
Yeah, I think it's a good question, but it's also you or this is assuming that you can actually generate everything without even checking the code, right? But you need to know, I mean, someone has to know the code and check the code and know the domain where that code is going to run and integrate all the code and that kind of stuff. Maybe you automate everything, then it could be a problem. But I don't have an answer for you. I don't think we are there yet, maybe. So I think, is it time up or no?
You started to say too often, so then I started.
Okay. Yes, but it could be a problem, but I don't have an answer for that. In any case, I think, can we go back? Yeah, we need that domain knowledge. If it's built on top of generated code or other generated stuff, I think it's needed. So do we need data scientists with domain knowledge, or we need architects with AI knowledge? That's one question. And yes, then we have the other side. We have software architecture for AI. And we have a lot of new things as well. So we have all the we have to architect a lot of things like data and model engineering, maintainability and evolvability of these systems, and a lot of other qualities that they become different. Interoperability, scalability, performance, compliance handling, and how to deploy the new AI, and also all these agents. So all these things we need to sort of try to be able to do in an AI system. So and more, of course. So does software architects for AI affect architects? Let's make a simple example on that. So we have software, right? Like traditional software, I call it like that. And we have maybe an AI module, like a chatbot, which can be also done by a data scientist. And all this needs to be integrated, though. We have AI and we have software and we have integration. Integration means that we need to, the architects or domain expert, what you want to call it, we need to have the right system qualities. And if you have like a AI module that can have an impact on the qualities of the whole system, right? So it could be that you have changed some data and then the performance suddenly changes, or a lot of different things. Then you need to deploy that. I think we had something in the previous a lot of about this in the previous presentation as well. We have to do a lot of things about not just AI, but all the things that are around. And of course, if we want to also calculate how AI plays a role in the rest of the system, we also need some AI knowledge. So my hypothesis is that developing AI models require AI knowledge. I gave it for granted. Integrating AI modules with traditional software requires AI knowledge anyway, because we need to integrate them together. So we might need different processes and tests and other things. So I started to talk a little bit with some people about some smart people that actually have used some AI, and I got some interesting quotes. Like when I developed our AI solution, I spent 90% of the time on testing. Will I get more or less technical depth from the teams using AI? Like I'm generating a lot of code, I'm refactoring a lot of code to fix technical debt, but do I get more? I would never start developing the product before I know what I get from AI. That's also maybe a different way of looking at this. This was 2 months ago, but I guess it's all stuff with AI. Not part of that. So I mean, there are a lot of things that seems to be changing in the job of the architects. So if we want to call it architects, we want to call it something else. But those people who have a little bit more overview and they try to put things together in a company. So my hypothesis, and again, this is all about hypothesis, but I also would like you to challenge, or maybe we can pick something up for doing a study or something like that. AI is an opportunity for software architecting, but needs also software architecting. AI is a game changer. I think everyone agrees on that. But there are many new aspects and technologies to consider, and all those things affect how people manage their software. So we still need architects or some other names. Just put something that you like the name there, or someone that has the overview. And we need AI knowledge and skills. So my questions, because for now I have hypotheses. I don't know to what extent do you agree with me. But to what extent do architects need to change their role? Do you have to change the process? Do you have to change the methods, tools, the social interaction? What is happening in a sense? And I would like to actually leave with these questions. And if you have some questions, and I think if you are interested in this topic, we can, of course, talk a bit more about this.
Awesome. Let's start by giving Antonio an applause. Well done. The reason, now Mal is going to pull up the next slide. The reason that I asked Antonio to say a few things is because we have already worked ongoing on code generation or using different forms of Copilot or related approaches to generating code. We have worked ongoing on test case generation around using AI. What we do not have so much of, or actually anything of, is work around architecture and the role of the architect when it comes to AI. And that's one of the discussions that we've been having with Antonio. I know Jan has also quite a bit of passion around that. At least I don't feel that we have a lot of work in that area. Is that a fair statement? Yeah. So that's why I wanted to at least draw attention that this is not just about code generation. There are a lot more questions around this, including architectural questions that I think go both ways. And I know that some of you are architects, so I felt that was relevant. I can allow for one question for Antonio if there's anyone who wants to ask something, or suggest something, or comment, or disagree with Antonio. He's Italian, he's used to being disagreed with, that helps.
Who agrees with me? No one.
Lots of people agree with you. Now we're also trying to figure out how do we actually take this forward. So please go and talk to Antonio in the coffee breaks and otherwise, because we're looking for a way to get something going on this very topic also within Software Center. And with that, thank you very much. Sorry, no questions. Yeah,